The order, please. Order. The Assembly will now hear an address by His Excellency Horacio, President of the Republic of Paraguay.
Señores,
Mr. Co-Presidents, Mr. Secretary General, ladies and gentlemen, the adoption of the post-2015 Agenda for Sustainable Development represents the beginning of an ambitious roadmap for countries in the fight against poverty, aiming to improve the quality of life of their inhabitants, particularly those who live in vulnerable situations. Now, one of our government's public policy priorities is the fight against poverty. We have made progress towards achieving the Millennium Development Goals, which were adopted in 2000. Since the adoption of these internationally agreed commitments with effort and perseverance, we have reduced by more than 50% the proportion of people living in extreme poverty. However, we keep pushing and focusing our efforts on rural.
Please, could everybody be respectful and silent and listen to the President from Paraguay? Please continue, Mr. President.
¿es okay? Nuestro objetivo principal como
Our main goal as a government is to ensure food security for our population in order to completely eradicate malnutrition. Paraguay has taken a decisive step in order to guarantee the nutritional requirements for girls and boys in order to ensure excellent school performance and a healthy life. This has made us one of the leading countries of the region, according to the Food and Agriculture Organization. Now, with the adoption of a recent law regarding school nutrition and sanitary control, we have effected significant changes in public policy, such as the incorporation of nutritional education and the promotion of family agriculture through simplified procurement. The total investment destined towards the school food program has gone up to $95 million and provides breakfast and afternoon snacks to 90% of the student body and school lunches to 15%. We are creating a new awareness amongst our population, and particularly children. An example of this is the drawing that I am sharing with you. I've put it on each one of your tables in front of you, of the Paraguayan winner of the regional contest Feed the World, organized by the World Food Program. Now, it is true that we're aware that there is a direct link between education and development, and in this context, we have achieved the universalization and consolidation of primary education. And our country will soon achieve the goal of 100% coverage. In 2014, youth literacy rates were above 98%, So in this sense, we are just one step from universal literacy with equality by gender, area of residence, and economic condition. Now, significant progress can also be observed in the coverage and school coverage and the reduction of the gender gap. For example, I would like to point out the increase of uh, female participation from 8 to 17% in the national leadership in the past 15 years. With regard to children mortality, children under the age of 5, by maintaining the downward trend in recent periods, we will achieve the goals we have set out for ourselves. By the end of 2013, assisted delivery in maternity health centers has increased to 96.2% on average at the country level. Since June of last year, our government, with the support of UNICEF, has been carrying out a project called Zero Avoidable Death. In that context, maternal deaths were reduced to 33.6% and 2% of the neonatal deaths, and that is in the first year of work, through sustained training of public health staff. We are satisfied to announce that Paraguay has reached the Millennium Development Goals related to access to systems of water supply, drinking water supply, and sanitation. The Paraguayan financial system has been consolidated in recent years and maintains adequate solvency and capitalization ratios. There has been a gradual increase in the access to credit for small farmers. The success of Paraguay's monetary policies has resulted in the lowest levels of inflation in Latin America. This factor, amongst others, has allowed Paraguay to have one of the fastest growing gross domestic products in the region. According to a 2014 CEPAL report, Paraguay is the second Latin American country that is the most profitable for foreign direct investment. Now, meeting the Millennium Development Goals contributes to improving the living conditions of the inhabitants of our country and of future generations. Of course, we still have much to do, but it is good to see that we are heading in the right direction. At this moment, our government would like to express our commitment to the Sustainable Development Agenda 2030 with its main objective of ensuring the welfare of our entire population. Solidarity and international cooperation are essential for all nations of the world to achieve a harmonious, peaceful, respectful, fair, and inclusive coexistence. We know that the sustainable goals that will be approved at this summit are ambitious and pose a challenge to the international community. But if we achieve the international, regional, and national political consensuses, these objectives and goals are fully achievable. The implementation and strengthening of public policies, as well as the allocation of sufficient resources in a rational and timely way, is essential. In this context, we must work to achieve an efficient investment of public funds by establishing transparent implementation mechanisms and accountability mechanisms. We must not ignore the fervent cry of our Mother Earth to preserve the environment. Climate change is a global issue and a central challenge for all governments and inhabitants of the world. Your Excellencies, heads of state and government, the Republic of Paraguay welcomes the holding of this summit, coinciding with the 70th anniversary of the United Nations organization. One of the key points of the Agenda 2030 is the case of countries having to cope with special conditions. In that regard, the international community has pledged to take concrete actions to overcome the obstacles of landlocked developing countries. The agenda will be transformative for these countries to the extent that their specific needs and challenges are incorporated in the work programs of the relevant international organizations, international financial institutions, and particularly in the work programs of the transit countries. We are convinced that from these difficulties can also emerge new possibilities, in particular in areas of infrastructure, logistics, and integration. I also have the satisfaction of mentioning that the General Assembly of the Organization of American States that was held in 2014 in my country, the Declaration of Asunción on Development with Social Inclusion was adopted, which is currently being implemented. The government of Paraguay is committed to implementing the Sustainable Development Agenda post-2015 and will comply with its procedures for monitoring and review at the national, regional, and global levels, which will help it to be inclusive, transparent, rigorous, and based on serious, reliable, and timely information. In times of great challenges is when we need to more than ever embrace the fundamental values and principles and never forget that the rationale or the reason for the existence of governments must be the dignity of the people and enshrining the well-being as our ultimate goal of all our efforts. In this process, we honor our people and pave the way for generations to come. May God bless all of us. Thank you very much.